This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Another tough one dropping to the Reds for our Milwaukee Brewers. This one tonight by a final score of 7-4. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Brewers POSTCAST. My name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on Twitter, X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. Friendly reminder, we are free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts, as well as over on YouTube. Go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell. Get notified when we go live. Lots to get to on this evening's post-game show, a 7-4 loss. There is some good news, though, even in a loss. We'll talk about the Brewers clinching the number one overall seed in baseball as the playoffs nearing the start this upcoming week. Still some concerns with the bats for the Brewers offense. We'll definitely discuss that. And another struggling performance out of the pen, this time for Jacob Misiorowski. We'll talk about that. Robert Gasser getting the start for the Brewers. We'll discuss that as well. And, of course, your thoughts, your reactions, your concerns, I'm sure, as the Brewers falling once again. They fall to 96-65 now on the season. One game left to get that best regular season record in the regular season for the franchise record books. The Brewers still searching for it. I thought it would have come by now, but it certainly hasn't. Yesterday, I told you not to be concerned. I feel like that's still going to be the message tonight, but I can certainly see why some of you still feel the way you feel, and I'm sure tonight's performance in a 7-4 loss will not help my cause whatsoever, but we'll break all of that down, and we'll get to all of it, including, of course, your thoughts and reactions on the program. Let's get into your scoring summary tonight, brought to you by Rugiet and FanDuel. And without further ado, a quiet first inning, a quiet second inning in this one, and that party getting started for Cincinnati in the third inning.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Oh, Robert Gasser got into the third inning, did not get out of the third inning. 2 2/3 innings pitched for Robert Gasser in this one. 57 total pitches thrown. Jacob Misiorowski making his first appearance out of the bullpen in the third inning, and the Brewers just really where the game was won or was lost. And I shouldn't say won. Well, I guess it was won for Cincinnati. They would score 6 total runs, the Reds would, in that third inning. 4 hits combined, some sloppy defense from the Brewers, some walks, a swinging bunt against Jacob Misiorowski with an 0-2 count would get home a run, and just a very, very frustrating inning for not only for Robert Gasser, not only for Jacob Misiorowski, but if you're a Brewers fan watching that one, because Robert Gasser had given up a run. Again, he only gave up, I shouldn't even say he did, because that was Jacob Misiorowski that gave up the run. The Reds really didn't earn anything in that third inning. The Brewers just with some bad luck. I mean, obviously there was a single in there that Jacob Misiorowski allowed in that inning to score one of those runs, but a swinging bunt. I mean, and again, frustrating performance out of the pen for Jacob Misiorowski. And we'll talk a little bit about him throughout the course of the show. 2 1/3 innings pitched with 3 walks again for Jacob Misiorowski, which continues to be his Achilles heel, certainly in big moments. And he came into that third inning with a perfect opportunity for him, right? The Brewers throwing him right into the fire, the bases loaded, 2 outs. He gets a good count on Ke'Bryan Hayes, 0-2, a curveball, and Ke'Bryan Hayes just gets enough on it, a swinging bunt, and that would kind of be where the inning would unravel there for the Milwaukee Brewers, as the Cincinnati Reds would plate 6 in the top half of the third. The Brewers, though, I think, kind of do throughout the course of the season, responding there in the bottom half of the third, scoring 2 runs, a Yelich fielder's choice, a terrain double would get the Brewers on the scoreboard. That would make things 6-2. A home run from the Cincinnati Reds in the 6th would make it 7-2. Jackson Chourio in the bottom half of the 6th inning, his 21st home run of the season, 411 feet to dead straight center, would make it 7-3. Later in the 6th inning, Jake Bauers would bring home a run with an RBI single to left field, which would score Andrew Vaughn. That would make things 7-4 going into the 7th, and that would be it in this one for the Brewers as they fall by a final of 7-4. The Cincinnati Reds emptying out their bullpen once again. Again, Nick Martinez, Garrett Ashcraft, Emilio Pagan coming out of the bullpen. All names that we have seen already in this series for the Cincinnati Reds. Andrew Abbott getting the start, 5 1/3 innings pitched against this Brewers team, the 3 earned runs, and opportunities were there once again for this Brewers offense. 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Joey Ortiz coming to the plate once again with the bases loaded, unable to get a big hit, unable to have that timely hit that this team has been searching for. It certainly feels like most of September, maybe all of September, as they fall to the Cincinnati Reds. The season series now tied at 3 apiece for the Reds. They dropped this series to the Reds, the first series they've lost to the Reds in quite some time. But I think the biggest thing right now is the feeling amongst all Brewers fans, where I don't want to use the terms backing in to that number 1 overall seed. The Phillies losing tonight to the Twins 5-0. That helped clinch the number 1 overall seed for the Brewers. We saw it when they clinched the National League Central Division. In a loss against the Cardinals, it didn't feel the same. The Brewers, knowing about halfway through this game that the Phillies had lost, if you don't think they knew in that clubhouse, or in that dugout, I should say, probably mistaken. They certainly did know. So we'll discuss a little bit about that too, and the things you'll be talking about tomorrow in this one. But the Brewers do lose tonight, a final score of 7-4. Coming up after our first break, we'll get into the player of the game, as well as the things you'll be talking about after the Brewers fall to the Reds once again, this one by a final score of 7-4. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by Rugiet Go Long. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra, Cialis, maybe even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. And that's exactly where they come in. It's not just one of those another ED pills. It's a total game changer for confidence. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your cheap treatment ships discreetly right to your door. If prescribed, it is right to your door. You don't have to go through any other hassle, right to your door, right from your house. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet.com, RUGIET.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our promo code so that they know we sent you. Rugiet.com. Tough one once again tonight for our Milwaukee Brewers. It feels like it's been a tough month of September. It certainly has. It's been a rough 40 games. The Brewers batting about 500 over the last 40 games. It certainly has been a struggle. Tonight is no different. Losing to the Reds 7-4. I'll speak on the positives here in a second, but I do want to touch base that we do know that the Brewers are the best team in baseball right now, right? Like, I know it's a struggle. I know people are upset. I know it's frustrating to lose in the way that the Brewers have lost 3-1 on Friday night and 7-4 tonight, falling to 96-65 on the season. But there are some good things to talk about around this Brewers team. Let's get into the player of the game in a 7-4 loss.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I know it's frustrating. I know it's not the outcome we want as Brewers fans tonight in a 7-4 loss or last night in a 3-1 loss. Guys, at the beginning of the year, if I would have told you that when the Brewers started 0-4 and things looked really bleak and injuries were piling up, if I told you come September that the Brewers would not only have clinched a playoff spot, not only clinched the National League Central Division, but would have clinched the best record in all of baseball, what would you have thought? Just take a second. And I understand that doesn't matter in this moment. Let's put things in perspective. Right? Let's pump the brakes. I understand it's frustrating. I don't like to lose. I'm not giving this team an excuse. Every single one of us, including me, guys, wrote this team off. I did it in May. I think it was early, mid-May. I think it was probably the series after the Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, the first one in May. I understand it's frustrating that, where they're at right now. But in perspective, This is still the best team in baseball, guys. Like all the struggles we're talking about, and they just clinched the number 1 seed. Yes, I don't like clinching in losses. I think I don't want to say it's backing into a pat on the back, but that's kind of what it feels like. But this team has set themselves up for success. They set themselves up for success. They have the best record in baseball. They're going to get some time off. They're going to get a week off. They're getting some guys healthy. Trevor McGill slated to probably appear tomorrow. Jose Quintana, according to manager Pat Murphy, looks like he's good to go. DL Hall is back to throwing. And on the flip side, the Reds team has everything to play for. They have everything to play for. They are literally rolling out Emilio Pagan today for the 4th straight game out of the bullpen. It's not an excuse, but I think we have to appreciate what this team has done all season long. We don't know what's going to happen in October. I don't know what's going to happen in October. They don't know what's going to happen in October. When the playoffs start on Tuesday, everybody's back to 0-0, and everything changes for every one of these teams, right? The Reds are screaming their way into the playoffs. They could lose in that wild card and their season can be over. You never know how October is going to play out. I just want everybody to just take in what this team has done all season long, right? Tying the franchise record for wins right now. They will finish with the best record in baseball for the first time since 1982. They've clinched home field advantage throughout the postseason. And we're not happy with the way that they're playing. That's amazing because that shows you how dangerous this team can be. The best team in baseball, and I would say 70% of you, maybe more, are not happy with how this team is playing. That tells me their opportunities in October are going to be high. Their expectations are certainly high, but those opportunities, they're going to be plentiful in October. The best team in baseball, and I would say about 70, maybe 80% of you right now are not happy or not feeling good about where this team is going currently. What does that say about what this team can do in October? Good things are still in front of the Brewers. They control their own destiny going forward. They're going to get a week off. They're the best team in baseball. They're going to get some guys healthy. American Family Field is going to be sold the bleep out in playoff baseball in Milwaukee in October. The standard is now set. It's time for this team to go exceed those standards and get into the NLCS, get us to a World Series. But the player of the game tonight is this Brewers team, the best team in baseball. And despite all of our frustrations, despite us being upset going 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position, despite our frustrations and angst after leaving 7 guys stranded on base, a couple of those innings with multiple guys in scoring position, still the best team in baseball. That's tonight's Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game. Coming up, the things you'll be talking about tomorrow after a 7-4 loss. Tonight's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season officially here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with this can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, guys, and if that first $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Sunday is coming up. Sunday football, an early one. Steelers and Vikings tomorrow morning. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy, a little bit more juice to your Sunday. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. 7-4 loss to the Reds. The season series knotted at 3 apiece. Robert Gasser getting the start, 2 2/3. We saw Jacob Mizorowski, his first appearance out of the bullpen. Not great. 2 1/3, allowing 3 hits, 1 earned run, did strike out 3, but had 3 walks as well. And the Brewers ultimately losing this one and had plenty of chances in this one. The big moment of this game, he talked about it in the scoring summary, the turning point, 6 runs in the 3rd inning, and that was really your difference in this one. Let's get to the things you'll be talking about tomorrow after the Brewers clinch the number 1 overall seed, but do so in a loss.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It's kind of a little bit of the message from the player of the game. At this point, I would flush the series, flush this moment, flush this weekend away. And I understand you go back to the Padres series and the Cardinals series, and there's some angst and some issues with that. But this Brewers team is still set up for success. We talked about it, that they're going to have an opportunity in front of them. The Reds have everything to play for. The Brewers just simply do not. Now, I know Murphy talked about it after the game last night in a 3-1 loss, that he didn't see the at-bats that he wanted to see out of this team. Tonight, not a ton difference. Trying to get to first base is what he mentioned. 3 innings, the Brewers were put down in 10 or less pitches. Not ideal. However, this Reds team is playing for their lives right now. They are playing for everything. That's not making an excuse. I'm not saying, you shouldn't have the opportunity to win ball games and not be playing the baseball that's gotten you up to this point. But I do think there's some human element to the Brewers tonight. 7-4 loss. They experimented a little bit tonight with Jacob Mizorowski, put him in a tough spot coming out in that 3rd inning with the bases loaded. We didn't see any high-end relievers tonight for the Brewers. Mizorowski coming in that 3rd inning. Grant Anderson, Rob Jastrzynski, and Carlos Rodriguez rounding out the Brewers bullpen appearances tonight. Sal Frelick didn't start in this one, did have a pinch hit appearance later in this one. We still have Christian Yelich at the top of the order, which has now gone on for about 4 or 5 games now. So the Brewers still kind of tinkering with some things. I think if the Brewers had more to play for, and I understand that number 1 seed was still in play, I don't really even think the Brewers care about the number 1 overall seed. And maybe they say they will say they do. I just think they want to get healthy. And that's my biggest concern with this Brewers team going forward, is their health. It's got to be better going forward, and hopefully getting some of those guys will help that out. The Brewers lose tonight, 7-4. I know lots of you have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings. We'll get to as many as I can in this one. We begin with Glory Days Sports Consulting. Once again, no matter how you look at it, the Brewers will have the best record in Major League Baseball, and we're not happy. That's the crazy thing. It's a good thing, because it means the expectations amongst all of us are high. We're mad. We're angry. We're a little bit worried. We're definitely frustrated. And they got the best record in baseball. That's amazing. Can it be better? Yes, but they still have the best record in baseball. But that's what gives me hope for this team, right? That's the thing that I want everybody to kind of just grab onto a little bit. Be frustrated. Be upset. Haven't played good baseball. You've lost most series in the month of September, minus the Pittsburgh Pirates series. And you still finish with the best record in baseball. That should tell you how good this team can be, how dangerous this team can be. Preston, over on YouTube, it's a toss-up with Miz, as we've seen signs of hope. But when it comes to pressure situations, he just seems to fall. I don't think you can pitch Miz in October. I hate saying that. I put it on my Twitter account. It's been a disaster, guys. It's been a disaster since, I don't know, since before I guess that series with the Cubs, right? When he sustained his injury, when he was hit by that ball off of the bat. I think of, was it Seiya Suzuki? I don't remember who it was exactly. But I feel like that's when things started to kind of switch for Jacob Mizorowski. I just don't know if I would put him out there in October. I know they're going to have a big decision to make with that roster for the NLDS. I'm just not sure if I trust. Actually, I know I can't. I know I would not trust. If I was in manager Pat Murphy's shoes, I would not start Jacob Mizorowski. Manuel over on YouTube, Miz is not all-star caliber. Priester is definitely better than him. And when it comes to starting, I don't think that's even a debate. Completely 100% agree with Manuel there. Woodworking Outdoorsman, part of our everydayers. That 3rd inning was horrible. Might as well let the Reds win tomorrow. And just, yeah, if there's going to be a silver lining to this, as Woodworking Outdoorsman puts it, if the Reds do win tomorrow, and we'll see, Freddie Peralta gets a start for Milwaukee tomorrow. We'll see how it's going to be a short start for Freddie. The Mets are out of the playoffs. So if the Brewers win no matter what tomorrow, remember what the Mets did to the Brewers a year ago. You and I were sitting at home. Maybe you were at American Family Field, stunned, saddened, gut-wrenching loss. So I guess if you want to look at the silver lining to the Reds getting into the playoffs, the Brewers will not have to see the Mets in the playoffs. And here's the other thing that is not being talked about enough. And I want to make this point before we wrap up the show. The Brewers started the season in horrible fashion, right? We all know that. Brutal finish brutal start to the season. Not good. Lots of injuries. Bad. Everything was bad. They then find themselves in contention in the National League Central. Then they take the National League Central from the Cubs and never give it back. And oh, by the way, guys, the division that the Brewers just dominated is going to see 3 teams in the postseason. It's a damn good division that this Brewers team, even in a 7-4 loss, even though the month of September hasn't been great, to have 3 teams in your division going into the postseason and the Brewers on top of the division, really since the midway point of the year, and we're upset. The expectations, man, should mean something. That should mean something to all of you. That should mean something. This is a very dangerous Brewers team. I understand that we're not playing great baseball right now, but it's still a very good team. Jason over on YouTube, not all Brewer fans have loser mentality, but those who only care about the best record and not winning the title, you're a loser. All right. Well, again, I don't think Brewers fans necessarily have the loser mentality. I don't think we're batting an excuse for them. Things haven't been great, but you're still the best team in baseball. Does that mean anything beyond tomorrow? No, but it helps set yourself up for success into October, and that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for at this point. Yes, you want to be playing better baseball. The Brewers are going to have their opportunities to prove to us that they can have that they can play better baseball, right? They're going to be hosting the NLDS. They're going to have that opportunity. It's not necessarily loser mentality, but you're going to give the team the benefit of the doubt. Certainly to this team, you guys, who we've all doubted. Every single one of us has doubted this team all year up until really the middle part of July. Every single one of us. Why would I count them out now? Why would I count this team out now? That's my question to you. If you're so upset right now, and I get it, a 7-4 loss, a 3-1 loss, a series loss to the Padres on the road, a series loss to the Cardinals on the road. I get it. I understand it's not great, but why would you write them off? For the team that has done nothing but prove everybody wrong, including those in Vegas, all season long. Terry over on YouTube, happy they have the 1 seed for the last month. They just haven't been playing well. 100% agree. Pat Murphy will tell you that. Christian Yelich will tell you that. Everybody will tell you that. It certainly hasn't been great in the month of September. They haven't had a ton to play for either. Like, it's not an excuse, but there is some human element to it, right? They knew they were going to win the division. You probably knew. Really, you go back to late August, that third weekend of August, the Cubs had to win at minimum 4 out of 5 in that 5-game series. Ideally, they had to take all 5 to make it more interesting. Once September started and the Brewers had a 6-game lead, you knew it was probably in. You knew it probably was in. So, yes, there is some frustration, and I completely think it's valid. I think you're valid in the way you feel. I'm not telling you how to fan. I'm not telling you shouldn't be frustrated. I think you should take your frustrations and look at the bigger picture. You're frustrated about how the best team in baseball is playing at the end of the season, who also just not only clinched a spot, they're 7th in the last 8 years, not only clinched a division, they're 3rd straight, but now the best record in baseball, and we're frustrated about how they're playing, and they have the home field advantage throughout Major League Baseball. That means the expectations going into October should be massive. Couple more comments before we get rolling. DJ over on YouTube. There are only 5 Major League Baseball teams who haven't won a championship. Will the Crew be the last man standing? Boy, I hope not. I really hope not. I really, really hope not. I think this year is special. I think it's different. It's felt different all season long. Pat Murphy has said it's felt different for him all season long. Players have said it feels different. October's, winning a championship's hard, guys. Winning, certainly in baseball, winning championships are hard. Sometimes they're fluky. Sometimes you got to get real lucky. But ultimately, they are difficult to do. Will, over on YouTube, I will take this season. It is great, but let's see what happens in the playoffs. Certainly. And I think it's a great comment to end on. And Will, thank you. Thank you very much for that comment, because I think we're going to end on that one, because take the season in. It's been awesome. It's been amazing. I've been able to sit behind a camera, behind a microphone, and talk to all of you all season long about our favorite baseball team. And it's been a roller coaster, guys. In April, we were talking about this Brewers team being sellers. In May, we were talking about this team being sellers. Then they had gone to 8-game win streak. And then we're like, well, maybe. Then June's kind of up and down. Then they really get, that June 12th date will always stick in my brain. That's when things kind of started to click for this team and when things started to go for this team. And then they go on an 11-game win streak in July. Then you're thinking, okay. Then a 14-game win streak in August. Now you're like, this is it. This is our team. They're going to win the division. Then they win the division. Then they clinch a playoff spot. Then they get the number 1 overall seed. And now we're back to being upset that they're not playing great baseball. And they're not. I'm not making an excuse. But that should give you hope for how good and how great this team can be, that even in the clinching the number 1 overall seed in baseball, we're still upset. I think the sky's the limit for this team. To your point, to a lot of you, you got to prove it in October. And I don't think any of us would disagree with that. That'll do it for tonight's show. As always, my thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you guys for making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. Friendly reminder, wherever you get audio podcasts, you can get this program as well as over on YouTube. Just go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button for me. Like us and follow us, and we'll get wrapped up tomorrow. Freddie Peralta on the mound, the last regular season game of the season. It's a football Sunday, but I hope you will join me. We will break it down after game 162 has its final out. That'll do it for tonight's show. Once again, my thanks to each and every you. Win, lose, or draw, as it has been all season long, and the Brewers have won 96 of them. It is always Go Brewers. Have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow. See you.